So maybe becoming caricature Odell, who has to live up to the back page headlines, because there aren't any back pages in Cleveland, right?
None.
Okay, so I like the fit much better there with a young quarterback, Baker Mayfield, who won't take any you-know-what off anybody in the huddle. He will come right back at you. He's not boring old Eli Manning. He's got momentum to him. He's got swagger to him. He's got attitude to him. And he will gunsling. He will try anything at any moment. There's going to be momentum here. They're talking about maybe this is going to kill me. They might sign Earl Thomas to replace Jabrill Peppers. Well, that's momentum that Odell, on a short term, for a year or two, could get swept up in, and maybe he would be not on his best behavior, but on better behavior. So it wasn't going to work in New York. It might work hugely in Cleveland. So I don't know what's not to like about this, because what is the history showing you in New York? He went, Odell, in the games he started in New York, they were 25-34. They did make that one playoff game, and that's what he gave you back for that. Okay, do you love that? Do you trust it going forward? Because Dave Gettleman finally, it was his mistake. He gave him the money, and then he said he wasn't going to trade him. I didn't sign him to trade him. Well, and then he finally said, you know what, I think we better undo this.
I feel, from everything I'm hearing, they kept him and gave him the money and kept him because of Pat Shurmur. Shurmur was like, look, give me 1 year with the guy and see if it'll work. But I'm with you, giving him all that money. It didn't make sense if you weren't sure about him. Everything you brought up on that video, Skip, though, it had one thing in common. It was all from previous seasons, not last year. The dog marking his territory, proposing to the net.
Okay,
all that was from last year.
All of why I wouldn't give him the money.
Okay, I get that more than this, what they've done now. Even the video with the Instagram model in Paris, that was before they paid him.
It was.
Is it possible that he was maturing? We know he was on his best behavior to get the deal. But then once he got the deal, again, outside of the Lil Wayne interview, which you're right, I know the Giants didn't love that. But still, that was...
They didn't. I know for a fact they didn't.
Oh, no, I'm sure they did.
And the other weird thing was, Lil Wayne told me that he thought he had been invited to be with Josina Anderson just one-on-one, and then all of a sudden Odell shows up, and before Wayne knows what's happening, Odell is spilling. He's just like spilling his guts about the Giants because he loves Lil Wayne, and he's comfortable and all, and he likes Josina, and he's just like, here we go. And it got pretty down and dirty. Again, was he telling the truth? Yes.
Yes, he was.
Did his management that gave him all that money love it? They did not. And I still believe that was the last straw, in effect.
It may have been, but I don't think it was that huge of a straw. I get it. I get why management
maybe
didn't
not
like
in
it.
a step back perspective, but it's like, boy, we gave him this money. And do you remember how many times Odell talked about, I'm going to be the leader of this football team. And then he is criticizing a quarterback. Again, what's left of the quarterback most Giants fans want no more part of, the one they're stuck with going forward, although he did beat Tom Brady twice in Super Bowls. You got to give him that, and that's why he's still alive, so to speak, in football terms.
But they're 6-15 without Odell. You brought up the record. That wasn't great with him, but it's a lot better than 6-15. And where are they going? This is the NFL nowadays. There's no 5-year rebuilding plan. Is that what the Giants are trying to put together, a 5-year plan? Who's going to be the next quarter? Are they that high on Haskins? Are they going to wait till next year and try to get to it? Like, what is the plan? You had a guy in OBJ. You had a guy in now Saquon Barkley. If you get a quarterback in there, now you've got the receiver and the running back. I just don't understand what they're doing. And then they've got, financially, it doesn't help them. And not in the short term, because for this upcoming season, they got $34 million in dead money. That's the most in the league.
Okay, I can't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm just telling you, they made a huge mistake. And the old saying is, you don't throw good money after bad, meaning once you realize your mistake, you got to start fresh. You got to clear the decks. I don't know what the plan B was. I know what plan A was. We got to get out from under this deal, and if we can get somebody to take it off our hands,
I'll give you that. I like Peppers. I liked him at Michigan. He didn't have a great rookie year last year.
He had a hard rookie year, but listen, all the way home, the last 8 games, because they got hot, Baker got hot, the team got hot, and he was the hottest on defense. And again, it scares me a little bit for the Browns' sake that Greg Williams is no more. I actually wanted him to be the head coach because he has head coaching experience and he has a commanding presence to him. And now Freddie Kitchens has never even been a coordinator except for that little stretch last year. And he's thrust into being the head coach of this.
With a lot, what I was going to say, with a lot of personalities. So
a lot of personalities.
I think Baker is now unquestionably the leader of the team. And maybe the adult in the room, maybe the unofficial head coach of the team is Baker Mayfield.
I don't know if we thought we'd be saying that.
I don't know.
I do agree with you, though. He's got a strong enough personality, Baker, to, I think, handle Jarvis and OBJ.
I think so.
I do agree with that.
So now, what do you have in Odell? He just got humbled because you can't tell me this didn't knock him on his rear end a little. Like he woke up this morning thinking, the New York Giants just gave up on me. They just sent me packing. They sent me to Cleveland. Now, again, I think he would have vetoed Cleveland except for Jarvis. So Cleveland is so lucky to have Jarvis Landry. Again, LeBron used to be there, but LeBron's not there anymore, and it seemed a little desolate without him. So now it's starting over. And I do think that this morning that Cleveland fans miss the king a little less than they used to. Am I
heard
right?
one fan say this is bigger than when LeBron came back on.
Really?
Some show, yeah.
Really?
I don't go that far, but that's what they're saying. Because Cleveland is a football town. Ohio's a football state. Cleveland
you know what?
is
I've said that
definitely
from the start. I'm
city.
glad you were reinforcing that.
No question.
They would be a little happier if they won a Super Bowl as opposed to LeBron coming back on Golden State.
Honestly, not a little happier, much happier. It's that big of a football city.
Okay.
And state. That's why I always say this often. LeBron would have been an NFL player because when you're all state in Ohio, that's saying something.
It's saying something. I believe he would have been a really good NFL player if he didn't mind getting hit. I don't know. He seems like he's Iron Man. If he didn't pull his groin, he'd be okay.
He'd probably been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So here you have Odell with a new chip on his shoulder. Like, you did that to the New York City just gave up on me. Okay, watch this. So I think you're going to get at least one watch this season from Odell. If it goes right, he'll be happy. If it goes wrong, if Jarvis starts getting too many balls, because Jarvis is a big ball catcher. You know, like he's going to get lots of balls. He led the league in catches 2 years ago at Miami. And he's a slot receiver, and he gets open a lot, and Baker likes him. Baker loves him. And they got Njoku, and they got Antonio Callaway, and they got Rashard Higgins. So there are lots of targets. So I don't know how happy Odell will be on productivity, but on winning, if they get off hot and stay hot and make the playoffs, I think he'll be just fine.
Well, you heard the report Ian Rappaport put out there that OBJ may already want to renegotiate his contract.
I saw that.
Okay. Now, there seems to be all types of reports out there about what actually is guaranteed in that $90 million deal. What I've seen is that only $17 million is guaranteed, and that's all in this season coming up. So if that's the case, he may want to do it before this season. Then there's other reports saying it's $40 million or $65 million. So there's conflicting stuff out there, but that's not something you wanted to hear on the first night you traded for OBJ, that he may want to renegotiate. He had quotes to NFL Network, OBJ, where he clearly was shocked. As you said,
you're right.
He said, I'm trying to process this. It is what it is. It's life. So I agree. I think he has been humbled. If he had been traded to the Rams or L.A., I don't think he would have felt that bad about it. But you're right, in Cleveland. But I think he's going to get enough balls because the good thing about he and Jarvis, they're different types of receivers. You know, Jarvis is going to be that possession guy, but the big play guy will be OBJ. And then you have so many other weapons that they're not going to be able to just focus on OBJ. So I think he's going to be really productive there.
If they could even get one huge year out of him, that would be worth the price of admission.
You don't think this is a long-term thing, though, I can tell.
I don't know. I just don't trust. Odell knows how I feel about him. I think he has a good heart. I think his heart's in the right place. His head's not always in the right place. And again, he became so big off the greatest catch in the history of the world against my Dallas Cowboys on a night the Cowboys actually won the game. I don't think he ever recovered from that. And again, it happened in New York. It happened in the Big Apple. It's hard once you get that kind of idolatry and social media acclaim and you have 12 million Instagram followers, it's hard to come back from that to how do we win the game? What do I have to do as part of the unity of a football team to help us win a championship? I don't think he has any idea of how to do that. Maybe Jarvis will help him there. Maybe Baker will help him. I don't know. He just needs a new set of variables around him. You know, he needs a big change of scenery and a new way, a new approach. Because in New York City, he had to keep living up to being Odell Beckham Jr. And when you have to keep living up, then you're going to act out and you're going to act up. You're going to keep doing things that distract the football team. On all my years covering pro football, there was only one receiver I ever